Hello academic stars around the world, welcome to Caltex Academy. Today on our board we are looking at this question paper of mathematics from South Sudan, the youngest nation in the world. So if you're excited, let's go together and see how the paper looks like. So in the front page, we have this first line of name and signature. Subject is maths, and this is for official use only. And this question paper is for either girls' boarding school midterm 3 exams 2025 and senior 2. So the time allowed for this paper is 1 hour and 20 minutes. We have some few instructions here. I'm not going to waste a lot of time reading them. If you need to do that, please pause the video and go through the instructions. So let's move straight to question number 1. And in this video, I'm going to work for you 3 questions. Question number 1 says, on a Valentine Day, 10 lovers went out to a royal hotel in Juba for a date. There were only 2 types of food served: mixed stew and chicken kebab C. 6 lovers liked meat stew, 5 lovers liked chicken kebab, and 2 liked neither meat stew nor chicken kebab. Question 1a says, represent the above information on a Venn diagram. Now after going through the question, so the next thing here is to collect some data out of the question. So let's read again and collect our data. On a Valentine Day, 10 lovers went out to a hotel. Now the total number of people who went to that hotel is the universal set, and we have here the number of universal is 10 lovers. There were only 2 types of food served: mixed stew, that is N. Now we can go on and say number of lovers who like eating mixed stew are 6. So we're gonna put it here. And 5 lovers like chicken kebab. So N or C equals 5. And 2 liked neither meat nor chicken kebab. So there are 2 ways in which we can represent this. We can say N intersection C. And when we use this intersection, then we can give some complement here. We can also have it as N union C. And we place the complement outside, it means the same thing. So there were 2 lovers who would not want to eat. Maybe they want to take some ice cream, we don't know. When we have a look at the question here, we are finished doing it all. So before we start answering the question, there might be some information needed for us to also include in the first one. So firstly, we need to read through all these questions. So part B is saying how many lovers liked both meat stew and chicken kebab, and we need to have that also represented here, and that is the intersection of mixed stew and chicken kebab. So we don't know, we can say X, and from here we are good to go to represent this information in a Venn diagram. The first one should represent meat stew, so we can say number of lovers who like to eat mixed stew according to our data here is 6, and number of people who like eating chicken kebab, they are 5. Then inside here, that is the intersection, and we say X. Now for those one who like to eat only meat stew, they are 6 minus X, and here we have 5 minus X. We have to also close. Let's go on and indicate the total number of lovers in that Valentine Day. So we have here 10. And here we have 2 lovers who like neither of the food. And we are done with representing our information on a Venn diagram. According to this, we have gotten 2 marks. So if you're South Sudanese and studying in senior 2 class, this is your paper. You can take note and revise it for the next examination. Now let's move on to part 2 of the question, that is B, and it says how many lovers liked both meat stew and chicken kebab. It is simple to solve this question. The total sum of the reason inside this universal shape will give us 10. And when we look at the reason, we can go on and label them. We have reason number 1, reason number 2, reason number 3, and reason number 4. If we sum what is inside here, it must give us 10, and that is the goal for answering part B of the question. So let's move on and take a look. Now, here we can start with this first reason. Here in that we have 6 minus x, and we move to reason 2 and we say plus x. Then we move to reason 3 plus 5 minus x, and we move to reason 4. We had here 2, so we say plus 2, and this must give us the universal 10, the total numbers of lovers who went out for that picnic. Now we can move on and start solving it out. Now this x will cancel. Then we sum up 6 and 5, that is 11 plus 2. We have here 13 minus x. This gives us 10. So collecting like terms, making this positive, you can take x to the right and bring 10 to join 13 as negative 10. Now you can go on and simplify. So this is 3 equals x. Therefore, this implies that x, as we defined earlier on, that represents the total number of people who like both meat stew and chicken kebab, is simply 3. And we have successfully answered this one here, and it becomes 2 marks. I think the question is interesting and very easy to get these marks. What do you think? Drop a comment in the comment section. And before we move on to question number 2, as I promised you to work 3 questions, why don't you go ahead and also subscribe to the channel in order for you not to miss all the questions I'll be solving in my upcoming videos. Unless you have any question, you can drop it in the comment section again. I'll get back to you. So let's move on to this question that says, find the area of the subdivision where C1, we have C1 here, and C2 are the centers of smaller and bigger cycles respectively. So we can see that there are 2 cycles brought together and they meet in one common location here. And we are asked to find this region. This is set in gray. I think this one is really easy. The card is 6 marks. If you're a student, what are you waiting for? Just get these 6 marks and relax. Okay, the main plan is we need to get the area of this circle. Then we can go ahead and also get the area of the smaller cycle. Here, we subtract the area of this smaller cycle from the big one. Then we are only left with this gray shaded region. Now let's get started. We know for us to get the area of a cycle, area 1 is the bigger one. You can say so. So let's calculate them one by one, saying area 1 representing the bigger cycle here, and let's say is given by pi r. So let's say also r1, and we square this. Area 2 is the one inside, and it's given by pi r square, and this other will also be 2 for the smaller one here. Oh, sorry, I've interchanged them. C1 is for the small one. Let's have area 1 for the small one. Let us go on and make substitution of what we know. So area 1 is given by pi, and R1, according to this, is 7 centimeter. So I'll have here, this is multiplied by 7 square. So this will also do the same to area 2, and that is the bigger one. So I also maintain pi, and I multiply this one here by R2. Our R2 is 14, then it's also squared. And since this 7 and 14 can be divided by 7, then I think we can go ahead and even simplify the value of pi by substituting it directly, and we have our A1 equals, let's substitute 22 over 7 times, of course this one means 7 times 7, then one of these 7s will cancel, and I left it only the other 7, and when you multiply this, what you get is 154. Please, if you don't know of head, You can go ahead and grab your calculator and say, okay, if I have 22 and I multiply this by 7, what do I have? I have 154. Exactly. So next, let's also do the same to this one here. A2 is given by 22 over 7 times 14, also times 14. Now we can move on and reduce this 14 by 7 to 2, and this 2 multiplies 14, we get 28. Therefore, our A2 is 22 multiplies 28. And what is that? 28 multiplies 22. Our answer is 616. So we're gonna have here 616 square centimeter, and that is the area of the bigger cycle. So we can move on and subtract it, because we're gonna look at this area of the shaded region. Now I can space my answer here to get the area of that shaded region, and leave my area 2 minus area 1. Therefore, our area 2 is 616 minus area 1 is 154, all in square centimeter. Since I already have area 2 in calc, I can move on and get my calc and subtract very simply our answer minus 154, and this gives us 462. So we have 462 square centimeter as the area of the shaded region. In case you have any question, so please, I encourage you to drop it in the comment section. I'll get back to you to answer you once more. Now lastly, let's take a look at our question number 3, and that is where we're gonna end. 3a, saying expand x plus 2 square. And there are 2 ways in which we work out this one. I'm gonna show you all. So we have x plus 2, and this is squared. Let's pause a little bit. If you have a square, the meaning of this is a times a, right? Now assuming my a is this compound thing, x plus 2, and I write a times a, what is this equivalent of? So we move on, and we have it also, these 2 packages. The first package represents our a, and the second package also represents our a. So let's insert what is inside this package, x plus 2. Also x plus 2. I hope this makes sense. So the next step is to distribute the first 2 terms as coefficient of the second bracket. So let me use a different color to represent my first term here, and this is going to multiply the second bracket. And remember, the second bracket is what we have here, and that is x plus 2, also x plus 2. Then here we have the second term. We take it together with the sign plus 2. Now what next? The only thing left is opening up this bracket and simplifying. So x times x, we get x squared. Then x times 2, we also get here 2x. 2 times x, we also get 2x, and 2 times 2, we're gonna get what? 4. Simplify the terms in the middle, and that is 4x. So we have f plus 4. Is there anything? Nothing. We have just simply expanded. And I think this is a longer version of expanding. Let me show you another small trick of expanding in one line. Okay, if you're excited, let's move on. Now I'm gonna switch colors, and I have something, maybe this. So we have our x plus 2 square, and let's also come here. If we have a plus b, and this is squared, the trick here is there are 2 numbers here, we call them binomials. So what we do is we square the first number, and we have it as a square, and we square the second number here, and we have b square. So how do you get the number in the middle? We have to multiply all these three terms, the 2, the A, and B. So 2 times A is 2A, times B is 2AB. And we say plus 2AB. Now let's apply the same thing to our working and see how we'll come up with the result in one line. Following what I've just learned here, that we square the first term, and our first term here is x. So when we square x, we'll also get x squared. Now let me go to the middle term exactly, because we've learned something here. And remember, our A is representing x, our B is representing 2. So doing that, we have 2 times x, we get 2x, 2x times 2, we get 4x. And put it here as 4x. And finally, we square the last term. Square of 2 is 4, positive. Now here, it doesn't matter whether we have A minus B, always the last term is positive, because if you square negative, is like you multiply negative times negative, that gives us positive. So always the last term here must carry a positive. And as you can see, our answer is exactly the same like what we have gotten before, but it's extremely short. And for me, I will advise you, since there are 2 marks here, in order for you to get maybe bonus mark to show that you have understood the topic, you have to follow method number 1 to get your answer, in order for you to really get those bonuses, and to also make your examiner knows that you really know also how to expand using the traditional method. Anyway, the choice is yours. What do you think? Do you go with method number 2 or method number 1 to obtain your 2 marks here? You can also share with us, by the way, where you're watching from. And this is South Sudan examination for senior 2 class. Lastly, let's move on and take a look at 3B. And for question number 3B, let us scroll up and have with us factorize x squared minus 6x plus 9, and it also carries 2 marks. Okay, of course this one you can also do in one line, but of course then we'll move on with the longer versions part of it, in order for you to know exactly how even a short form comes about. And we are starting with writing out the question. And x squared minus 6x plus 9. And for us to factorize this question, what we have to do is to take our constant and we get it out here. Our constant is 9. Then we have to think of 2 factors of 9, which when we add, it brings for us negative 6. This term in the middle, the coefficient of x. And again, if we multiply those 2 factors, it must bring for us positive 9. Remember, these quadratic expressions are in terms of ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c are constants. So we're talking about these 2 constants here, where the first one is called sum and the second one here is called product. So out of these 2 factors, make sure that it satisfies all these 2 conditions. So adding them will bring our b, and for this person our b is negative 6. Multiplying them, it will bring for us c. Here our c is 9. Now let's try these 2 factors, 3 and 3. Since it is a square, I think 3 and 3 can go, right? You also have to place here negative 3, and negative 3 plus negative 3 brings for us negative 6. So negative 3 times negative 3, we get positive 9, since negative times negative is positive. Since we've already known, and we'll use these 2 factors of 9 to disintegrate the term in the middle. We replace negative 6 by negative 3 and negative 3. X is a coefficient for these 2 numbers now. Then go ahead and do that and have x squared. Instead of writing negative 6, I'm going to put there negative 3 minus 3. And let me place our x somewhere here. Okay, let me say here plus first. And we add our 9. Let us move on and rewrite this. This is a term on its own. And of course, positive times negative times x, because we are opening up this bracket by two things, the sign in front and this x. So we have here minus 3x. I hope this makes sense. Or else, if you don't create this bracket like that to see how this negative 6 is replaced, then you can just go ahead and attach your x here, directly carry them and place them here. So this one becomes minus 3x, and this is a number of its own, it's a constant, and we have generated two pairs of numbers. So the first two have something in common. Like here, factorize that common factor x into, we're left with x here, minus, and this x has moved out, we're only left with 3. And here is a number that is common, and that is 3. Now for us to have a negative, we need also negative somewhere here, so that when you multiply negative and negative is positive. So our common factor should be negative 3. And inside we have x minus 3. Of course, as that negative times negative is positive, 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, so we can see something looking similar here. The brackets are the same, so we need to pick only one bracket, and we take the coefficients of these two brackets to form another bracket. So we have here x minus 3. We always carry together this sign, and we take one of this, x minus 3. We are done with factorization, and that is the longer method, the traditional way of factorizing. So if you don't want to move all this long, you just create two brackets, and after making our two brackets, then you bring in the unknown letters. For our case says x would be y, w, then mention them. So we have here x and x. And simply go ahead and pick our factors we've identified, place them here, negative 3, and then negative 3. And we are done. The same thing here. And that is factorization in one line. And as I mentioned earlier on, since there are two marks, for you to place this marks well, it's good, I think, to create some step here, and you are good to go. If you are watching this time, thank you for supporting Caltex Academy, for watching, and peace out.